Serial killers that are on the loose today.
Serial killers that are still on the loose.
According to the FBI, there could be up to 50 active serial killers in the United States right now. That's literally one serial killer for every state in the United States.
Okay, pause already. I think there's way more than 50 active serial killers. I think there's way more. I think there's way more than 50 active serial killers in the U.S. I'm just gonna be honest. Dude. Now to kill somebody today, but I think deadass. I think obviously now it's easier than ever to get caught doing a crime with the amount of like surveillance and tracking. Like if you're going to do a crime, bro, like don't bring your phone. You know, I'm not advocating for crime, of course, but I mean it just gives them a location of where you've been. Like, you know what I mean, bro? But like I was saying, bro, like there's got to be way more than 50. There just has to, cause like there's still a lot of people. Like for example, like people can get killed like on the road all the time, dude. Like you hear about it when I was growing up. You'd hear about it all the time. Like, oh yeah, never sleep in your car on the side of the road. Like dead ass.
This year's Halloween special, I knew I wanted to talk about serial killers, but I also knew I wanted to make it extra creepy, which is why I wanted to discuss not serial killers who we all know and have been put to jail or put to death. I wanted to discuss serial killers that are currently active or still on the loose to this day.
Y'all better watch
being
out,
on the loose
man.
and being active are two different things, which is why this video is a bit of a double feature. I'm going to start by going through every serial killer who is still walking among us, and then I'm going to build up to not only serial killers who are on the loose, but are also on the loose and active to this very day. So without further ado, let's talk about killers that could technically kill you. The I-70 killer. The year is 1992. You are the manager working at a local shoe store, and you've just began your shift. Today was like any other day. You were alone in the store, and the store was quiet. That was until one peculiar-looking man walked in. He enters the store looking directly at you and doesn't say much, although he asks you if you could find something for him in the back. You oblige and walk in the back, only to realize you've been followed. And before you can understand what's going on, you hear the click of a gun, and your life...
Oh, hell nah. Oh, hell nah. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Everybody need a firearm. Who need one? Come take it. Come take it now. I got you. We're not doing none of this no more. Someone follow you. Bang! If I'm a worker and I'm in the back, somebody come back there anyway. You tap my shoulder. Excuse me. Bang! What the fuck? I'm not gonna lie. We gotta learn, dude. 1990s in a store with a gun, just in the store, just killing somebody. Crazy. Just
Unfortunately, that is a real story of one of the victims of the I-70 killer. And this victim was one of many. The I-70 killer is named after the I-70 highway because every single one of the murders attributed to him has taken place only a few miles off of the highway. For those unfamiliar, the I-70 highway is one of the longest interstates or highways in the entire United States and runs from Utah to Maryland. That alone is an interesting fact we'll get into later, but more...
Like, how do you, like, what level of, it gets to a point where they're like, yeah, I can just do anything. And they walk in a store with a gun, kill the person right then and there. It gets to a point where it's like, it's either like A, like they're trying to get caught, or B, they're like, I'm never going to get caught. I can just keep doing this. And this guy hasn't been caught. That's all I'm saying. And in the 92? Like, come on, gang.
On the killer himself. It's believed that the I-70 killer was most active from 92 until 94. Although murders as recently as 2001 have also been attributed to him.
Well, back then, video surveillance wasn't as common as now. Well, I know that. But, like, I understand that. Like, obviously it wasn't as big as it is now. But what were the cameras like in 1992? Video surveillance started gaining popularity in 1970s and 1980s. If you're on like right outside of an interstate, are you putting in the 90s? Are you putting cameras in your store? Are you putting camera? Weird. I'm just off I-70 right now. Oh yeah, pack them up. Pack them up right now. Commercial adoption. CCTV became a common in retail, banks, and ATMs. To deter theft, because yeah, exactly. Like you got to think, most people weren't getting killed in the stores, but there was people getting robbed. Robberies were booming, and that was in the 70s and 80s that they do that. So there had to be CCTV. Recording on a potato. Yeah, okay, that's facts. The camera quality was butt cheeks. I'll say that. It's yeah, you're looking at people in 8-bit trying to decide, is this the Unabomber? Like, that shit was rough. I'm not gonna lie.
Very little is known about the I-70 killer, and every murder
Stop
that is
motion back
associated with
then?
him is because of the extremely consistent methodology this man used. Almost every victim of the I-70 killer follows the same criteria. The victim was a woman working alone in a retail location only a few miles off the I-70 highway and was nearly clinically executed with a
In
22mm
retail.
bullet to the back of the head. Now, interestingly, all of the murders attributed to the I-70 killer showed little to no signs of assault or robbery
Like, this
after
is
the murder
gun
took place,
violence,
meaning
like-
that this killer likely killed simply for the satisfaction of killing, which is just more evidence in case you weren't convinced that this person was twisted already.
no.
Now, it's important to note that there are a few murders from
They're
the
on 3
I-70 killer
frames
that
per
are a
second.
bit unorthodox. Specifically, a few murders that involved male victims, as well as a situation where 2 people were murdered at the same time, which was the first and only time that happened. And it's
Wichita?
theorized by authorities that the I-70 killer believed one of the employees was alone.
Nothing good happens in Wichita. Let me tell you. Nothing good happens in Wichita. Side tangent. Nothing at all good happens in Wichita.
When in reality, the employee and store owner were both present at the location, and the I-70 killer decided to kill both of these people. As of today, there's believed to be anywhere from 6 to over 9 killings attributed to the I-70 killer.
6
and
to
interestingly,
9
with these murders
killings?
taking place relatively recently, and the sheer volume of murders that took place, there is quite a bit of evidence and information taking place. But
You're
interestingly,
telling me
even with
in 9 murders in 2 years, they weren't like, we gotta get this guy. Like, I mean, he walks into stores, retail stores. Oh, welcome to Hot Topic. Was there Hot Topics in the 90s? Welcome to Hot Topic. How can I help you? Oh, do you have any limited edition Victoria's Secret thongs in the back? Okay, let me go check. You turn around, and he just moves on to the next store a month later. This shit's out of hand.
technology that existed at the time, which was only the early 90s,
yeah,
and the technology that exists today, which is way more advanced,
Right,
there is
right.
still absolutely no clue as to who the I-70 killer could be. And all we have are a few artist depictions based off of a few eyewitness accounts. My mind is still a bit blown that with over 6 active crime scenes that have all been extremely consistent in a relatively modern time period, we still have no
He
real
beats 50 to
information, and it doesn't look
70-year-olds
like we're
today?
ever going to get anytime soon. And for people who claim to have seen the
Or
I-70
that
killer,
day.
they said that they saw a skinny white man, roughly 5'7" to 5'9", in their 20s
Oh,
to
they
30s
got
at the time.
him! They got him on surveillance. Okay, you can find this guy. You can, come on, gang. He's a 20 to 30-year-old going on a rampage for 2 years, and they're like, you know, that's Vladimir Putin. Yeah, Putin came to the U.S., had to get his few in after the whole Cold War fiasco. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. That's insane. This isn't even bad video. We thought like, oh yeah, like the cameras are pretty rough. Yo, you can clearly see gang. You can clearly see bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm being exposed on the video. Lena, you're a murderer?
Authorities across the United States are still actively searching for the true identity of the I-70 killer to finally bring him to justice. And today,
Is it gonna be one
investigators
of those
believe
cases where
the
they find
I-70
him,
killer
like,
is likely between the ages of
70 years
52
later?
and 70, meaning that it's extremely likely that he's still alive and roaming the streets today. Although it's believed
this sketch is ass. This sketch of the guy is ass. I mean, like, that's the guy on the camera, right?
that he's across man soon. And period, we who
Hold on,
claim
where
to
is it?
5'9" in
This looks like this is nothing. Like, this guy's got a large forehead. The hairline's pushed back in a U shape.
their identity between the ages of 50
Why? Who drew this? Who did this? His hair, he wouldn't even have hair anymore. I bet he has like barely any hair left.
and 70, meaning that it's extremely likely that he's still alive and roaming the streets today.
They
Although it's
described
believed
every
that he's
white
either
man and then
retired from
provided
killing
footage.
or simply changed his methods so his new murders cannot be attributed to his now infamous persona. The I-70 killer wasn't the only killer of this kind. There's also an I-70 strangler and an
Oh my
I-65
God.
killer. But even those aren't all of them. And in a press release, the FBI
highways
has
gotta
even
be the
stated
worst places to
explicitly
work
that a
around,
disproportionate
bro.
amount of murderers and serial killers
Yeah,
have been trucked
Midwest around the highways gotta be like top 10 most dangerous jobs in like between the 70s to the 90s. Hey, skip this part. Yeah, I'm seeing a truck. Truck drivers are the murderers. They stop, they pull over, see somebody with a thumbs up, move on to the next city. It's insane. They show what he looked like today. Okay, I know they show what he looked like today, but you think his hairline went down 10 inches? No, gang. His hairline did not go down 10 inches.
Drivers, simply because their lifestyle is so conducive for serial killing. They're consistently traveling city to city. They're hanging out in locations that are relatively temporary, you know, rest stops, gas stations, and they always have a reason to be going somewhere. And truck drivers and trucks, for the most part, kind of fly under the radar. In regards to the I-70 killer specifically, the authorities don't know what...
Suge, would you do a deer rate as long as you don't show it? Yo, somebody ban that guy.
His occupation was, but they do believe that he was either a truck driver, a drifter, or somebody who traveled on I-70 frequently for work. So I guess all I can say is, if you're traveling on I-70 and see a man who looks something like this, keep your distance. The Eastbound Strangler. The year is 2006.
What was that?
You and your dog are staying in a cheap motel outside of Atlantic City because you've fallen on pretty hard times. And you decide to go out for your daily walk. You walk your dog on the usual route around the motel when you notice that your dog is particularly inquisitive about something behind the motel. He keeps trying to draw you down to this drainage ditch, and while you're unwilling to go down there, you figure something suspicious is going on. You get back to your room and inform police, and after they arrive, they knock on your door and tell you that what you called them about was extremely concerning, and what was found in that drainage ditch was extremely disturbing. Inside that drainage ditch laid 4 dead women. All of the women that were found in this ditch were identified as sex workers in the area, and all of these women were laid extremely methodically. These women were all face down in the drainage ditch, roughly 6 feet apart from each other. All of their heads were pointed eastbound, and all of them were fully clothed except for having their socks and shoes removed. And all of them were strangled to death. The way that these women were killed and the way that their bodies were found is, of course, where the relatively twisted name of Eastbound Strangler came from. Now, basically everything I've just told you is almost everything that's currently known about the Eastbound Strangler. And unfortunately, that kind of just comes with the territory when you're talking about serial killers that are still on the loose. They're on the loose for a reason, and that's because not much is known.
So wait, how many people do you have to kill to be a serial killer? Y'all like what? How many is it? It's 40 minutes. Dude, that's crazy. So he strangled these women. Foot fetish serial killer? Oh, I guess so. Normally more than 3. 6 to 7. Okay. Okay, what are we talking about? Dude, that's insane. Does the serial killer mean that there's like a pattern to it? Or is it just like, if it's just more? A serial killer is generally defined as someone who commits 3 or more murders over time with distinct cooling off periods. Periods between each killing driven by psychological gratification rather than financial or political motives. Oh, they do that. They'll like kill, like nowadays, I like people now, like they'll kill and then they'll wait like 5 years, and then they're like, they get the itch to do it again. Suge, when is the fuck a fan contest? Yo, Polar, what are we talking about? Your last chat, your last couple chats about me watching a YouTube video you want to send, bro. Like, what are we talking about? You must have, y'all have like a freak period. Serial killers have a cool out period. Y'all have a freak period. What's the difference between a spree killer? Maybe a spree killer doesn't have a spree killer. Oh, this is my guess. A spree killer doesn't have a cool off period and just continuously murders. The main difference between a serial killer and a spree killer is a cooling off period. Bang! Serial killers have a significant time between murders, weeks, months, or years, for fantasy or fulfillment, while spree killers commit multiple murders in different locations within a short time, days or sometimes up to 30 days with no such break, often driven by immediate rage or desperation. They're just going around just getting any and everybody. They're just crashing out. Well, it was talking about the 4 ladies face down all eastward with nothing but their dogs out, their feet out. And what the fuck?
At least not enough to find them, let alone convict them. And unfortunately, this leaves a lot of room to speculation. And I would argue that if this serial killer was at least strong enough to strangle and move the bodies of 4 women into a ditch, then it's likely that they weren't extremely old when these killings took place. And because these killings took place only 19 years ago, I would say it's very likely that whoever killed these 6 women...
That's what, 2005? I was alive during this guy's reign of terror.
Still alive today and possibly still active, because all of
Holy.
these 4 murders were only linked together because all of the bodies were found in the same place. But
Yeah.
if this killer decided to just go in any other place in the country and kill somebody in any other
Oh,
way,
dude, that
well,
dog-
nobody's
a
going to really
dog-
suspect the
A
eastbound.
dog caught these bodies after they were murdered. That's crazy. A dog. What is this note thing? He like left this?
Wrangler, the Jeff Davis 8. Fortunately, the Jeff Davis 8
Davis
situation
8.
does have quite a bit of information surrounding it. However, this information, while not only upsetting, only leads to more
Oh,
questions
no.
than answers. The Jeff Davis 8, or the Jennings 8, refers to a series of murders that took place between 2005 and 2009 in the small town
4
of
years.
Jennings, Louisiana. All 8 of the
Louisiana. Oh, that's me.
Jeff Davis 8 victims were women. But more interestingly than that, they were also connected to each other. Not only did they all live in similar circumstances of being young women struggling with poverty, drug use, and prostitution, but they also literally knew each other. Several of the victims in this case were also police informants, and some of these
Oh my
informants
God.
even ratted on each other to the same police station. And police station is something we'll discuss just in a sec. All 8
Oh,
of these
no.
women were killed in similar ways and dumped in similar locations, with the murder methods used being strangulation, suffocation, or drowning. And the areas these bodies were dumped were either in swamps or canals in remote areas outside of Jennings. Now, it's reported that when these bodies were found, it's shown that there was an active attempt to have these bodies unidentifiable once found. And it's also suggested that whoever placed these bodies in these extremely remote locations was very familiar with the local terrain due to how specific these locations were and also how hard they were to get to. Off the bat, this case sounds like any of our other cases. Sure, a group of women unfortunately were killed and went missing because they lived in unfortunate situations and were vulnerable to psychopaths.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Being a woman in the world, first of all, ass. I don't think if I had a chance to pick whether I started off as a man or woman, I would want to stay where I'm at. I know I can go out anywhere, and there's a very low chance that anything would happen to me. I'm a big dude, you know, like I wouldn't have to worry about nothing. But like to be a woman, bro, like especially like these women, like they like in like poverty, and like let's say you get into sex work, right, dude, there's like a 50% chance one of the dudes you're with might kill you, like or at least they're thinking about it. I'm not gonna lie, I bet, bro, because like that's who they choose. They know they can get away with them easier. They know they can get away with them easier. It's insane. Same with like homeless people. They be killing homeless people too, because they know no one's gonna like. Bro, you murder a rich family's son or daughter. Oh, you're fucked. But like homeless person, they're not gonna bat an eye. Like, oh, they'll have an investigation of a murder, and then after 2 weeks they don't care. Like, but comparatively, it's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me. All male serial killers that kill women are mad they can't get no puh. That's why that's your theory. That's why they take them out. Most were actually gay. Is that true? Or better today. Wait, one of them low key looked like Minnie. I don't think any of them look like Minnie. Wait, that's not why I do it, huh? What is he talking about?
That were looking to kill innocent people. But once you look deeper into this case, you realize that while there very likely could have been a serial killer who killed these 8 women, it's also very highly suspected that there was some police involvement. And the theories on the involvement of this police varies drastically. Some people believe that the local authorities not only executed the planning, killing, and hiding of these women's bodies, while
insane.
others
Oh my
suspect that the
God.
local police were simply complicit in the situation and didn't put much effort into investigating the situation simply
Dude.
because of who the victims were. Now, whether you believe that the
just
Jeff
said
Davis
that.
8 killer was a single
I just said that.
serial killer or potentially a group of people involved in law enforcement, the same conclusion can be drawn. Nobody has ever been charged for the murders of these 8 women.
That's
and unfortunately,
disgusting,
it doesn't
bro.
look like anybody ever will. Which means that the lunatic or lunatics who killed these 8 women are definitely on the loose and walking among us today. To me, this is another case that just rings so odd because there was literally 8 murders that took place over 4 years in super modern history. Like, we're talking
Dude.
2005 to 2009. Like,
Oh
the
my
technology
God. 8 women in 4 years in like in recession time, yo, gang, what are we doing? Like when the Black Eyed Peas was going crazy, this dude was running around killing people. I bet y'all think it was the police? Y'all think it was the police? Police? I low-key think there was some police involvement. Off what I heard, I bet some of them police officers was sleeping with them women. The informants had enough of them and took them out. I don't know, man. That shit's crazy to me.
It wasn't where it is now, but it was definitely advanced enough to have some progress on this. So the fact that 8 murders can take place in 4 years in the exact same place and nothing ever comes of it is extremely suspicious, which is why, for that reason, I don't think that looking more closely at law enforcement is a bad idea. And if you watch some of the documentaries or read some of the books about the situation, then you'll definitely get a deeper perspective on the potential law enforcement involvement. The West Mesa Bone Collector. The year is 2009. You are an active outdoorsman. This time, you decide that something that could be fun to try is testing your survival skills in the middle of the desert. And that's when you decide to try living off the land in Albuquerque's West Mesa. You spend your first day on the trip hiking and getting familiar with the landscape until, while hiking through a mesa, you see something stick.
If you were like a murderer or like someone who did a crime, or like let's say you're like fucking you're a drug dealer, you kill somebody and dump their body in the desert. Yo, you'd have to be pissed if some dude just camping out there because they wanted to prove like that they could survive in the world. Like just camping out fucking finds the body or some shit. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy.
Out of the ground. It doesn't look like a flower or cactus, and as you get closer, you realize that this is a bone, but it doesn't look like any animal bone you've ever seen.
That's
crazy. You realize that what you're looking at is a human bone. Immediately, you call the authorities, and within hours, the police have not only dug up one body, they've actually dug up the remains of 11 women and girls.
Oh my God!
The West Mesa Bone Collector is, first of all, just an insane name to give a serial killer, and second of all, one of the most infamous unsolved cases in modern history. It's unnerving how recent some of these cases are and how little information is actually available. In the case of the West Mesa Bone Collector, the bodies were discovered in 2009. However, it's believed that the murders took place from 2001 until 2005. Following the unfortunate trend already evident in this video, all of the victims of the West Mesa Bone Collector were women. But not only were they women, some of these women were sex workers, and some of them were just struggling with homelessness and addiction. But definitely most saddening of all is some of these women weren't even women at all. Out of all of these 11 victims, well, technically 12, one was a 15-year-old girl and one was an unborn child. Because all of the bodies were skeletal remains by the time they were finally found, authorities were not able to determine a definitive cause of death, although they did say that trauma on the body was evident. And while the murder methods of the Mesa Killer are unfortunately unknown.
In the death game? Yeah, they need to go in the death game, Jigsaw. We gotta pack them up. Hold on, I gotta pause Tangia though. It's a good reminder. I appreciate you. I gotta pause it just for the vid. But no, that's insane. A 15-year-old victim? God damn. Did I tell you guys I had a crash out over not having enough notebooks or pens on my first day today? Aw. I crashed out because my favorite pen ran out of ink. That's actually top 10 most depressing experiences of all time, by the way. That's up there. That's up there. Your favorite pen, and I'm talking one of those nice pens, like when you don't even have to put pressure for the ink to glide on the paper. That's how that pen was. I'm already knowing. Why'd they use a dinosaur-ass phone? I don't know. Never let my wife or girl go out on a walk in a big city. I can tell you that much. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Fuck. Dude, I just don't understand. I just can't understand, like, why people hurt people. Like, it just doesn't, like, I literally can't, like, it's so hard for me to, like, comprehend in general. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. You're ruining someone's life, and at the same time, you're throwing yours away. Especially now, like, there's so much surveillance everywhere. You got it. Like, if you're gonna do some shit like this, bro. See, the real serial killers nowadays, bro. Gang members, gang affiliated members killing other affiliated people. Those are the real serial killers, bro. And they can hide it. They can hide it by you know, it being a beef or whatever. Yo, those people are serial killers and spree killers. The people who like shoot people for real. Let me tell you. Those people are the real. Like when you talk about mass murders, when they talk about mass murders in the U.S., they're talking about when gang niggas start going crazy and start blasting at each other. That's when they. That's what I'm. That's what they be talking about. Oh, a thruple. Does Chico know Lena is married to Quantum? Quantum is married to me. W thruple. I'm looking at red Sharpie pen. Oh, the Sharpie pens are so good. They're so good.
Known, the one consistent variable in the situation is the method of hiding the bodies. Every single one of these 11 bodies was hidden in the exact same location, with the bodies being wrapped and then placed underground in an active effort to make sure these bodies.
No, they're talking about school shooters. Okay, the majority of mass shootings are not school shooters. They're like, hold on, I will fact check this. Hold on. Let's see. Now, those aren't the majority of like mass shootings. Hold on, let's see. Like mass. Do you know how much a mass shooting is? Mass shooting statistics. Mass shooting fact sheet. Let's see. Hold on, we gotta find another one. This one is excluding everything else. But okay. According to the Rockefeller Institute of Government, I don't know if I trust this website. But latest updated, okay. Mass shootings are most likely to occur in workplaces and schools, though, is what it says. It says 28% are in workplaces, 22% are in schools. Well, where's the other 50? Where's the other 50%? Hold on. What percentage of mass shootings? But I was saying that's like what the murders are too. Let's see. Gang violence is probably a different category. Yeah, I'm saying like I'm talking about like when it comes to like the serial killers and spree killers. Oh no. Okay, hold on. No, gun violence is different. Gun violence a lot of gun violence is self-inflicted. Let's see. So I'm getting like these are like homicide facts. And like what weapons are used. It's not saying where they're happening. Let's see. Where is it at? Hold on. And is? Wait, nah, mass shootings in schools with most murders are gang violence. Okay, well, it said 22% of mass shootings. So where's and 28% is at the workplace. So where's the other 50% of them coming from? These are the questions we need answers. We need this answered. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. It's 17% of fatal mass shootings are gang violent inflicted. But a mass shooting, hold on, a mass shooting is like, I think how many people is it? I think it might depend on the state though. Okay, number of victims range from 3+ fatalities to 4+ people shot. Okay, so some Some might not even be like if they're dead. Some are only if they're dead. That's crazy. Hey, bro, he said Quan was married to me. Play the bit so you can get to mine. Polo, I said I'm playing yours tomorrow. Playing yours tomorrow. Playing yours tomorrow. Playing yours tomorrow. That's crazy though.
Bodies were
Hold on.
never found.
1 second.
And while the bodies were eventually found, the killer never was. At least not yet. And once
Hey,
again, this
dude,
is
that's
another
sketch. They have
upsetting
no idea what the
situation
dude
of
looked like.
potential mismanagement from the authorities. Because seriously,
5
how do
plus
at
in
least
South
11
Carolina?
women
That's
go
insane.
missing in 4 years without
they really be
anybody
shooting
saying
down
anything?
there.
And then when all of these women are found in the exact same location, even then, nothing is then known or discovered for the
Minnie loves
next
true
20
crime.
years. It's so disheartening. And I didn't mean for this video to be a bummer. It was kind of supposed to be scary, but I guess with this sort of situation, it, well,
That
comes
was
with the
Bill
territory.
Gates.
But regardless, with these
What
murders
was?
taking place only from 2001 to 2005, it is extremely likely that the killer who executed these murders is still alive today and walking among us. The Rainbow
crazy.
Killer. The Rainbow Killer is the first killer we're discussing that is not from the United States.
Uh-oh.
Although the serial killer does still have a stereotypical
Why does the US
insane
have so
serial
many
killer
serial
nickname. And
killers?
the Rainbow Killer got his nickname because he was targeting and assassinating gay men in Brazil. Whoever is giving these serial killers names seriously needs to chill. But back on a serious
Right.
note, the murders executed by the Rainbow Killer took place between
America sucks.
2007 and 2008. And during this time, it's believed that the Rainbow Killer killed at least 13 gay men, all between the ages of 20 and 40. And all of them
In a year? Dude, he did the Dahmer method. He was on that Dahmer method, dude. Because the population size? Yo, bro. Nah, bro. This was like, I don't know, bro. 6 + 7 = 13. Yo, Alex, bro, we gotta lock in. We gotta lock in. UK has mass stabbings. We have mass shootings. Yeah, if the UK had guns, they'd have mass shootings too. How'd I tell you? Those people are full of rage and hatred over there.
shot in the head. Like some of the other cases in this video,
13
it
people
was
shot in the
suspected that the
head.
alleged serial killer could actually be a member of law enforcement. However, in this situation, this was something that other authorities took seriously. And in 2008, the same year that the murders were actually ongoing, the Sao Paulo Public Safety Department actually made a public statement announcing that the killer might actually be a police officer,
Oh,
which I think is
wow.
a very bold and respectable claim for the government to say. Like, if one of their own is doing this, it's important that they be able to speak up about that. Interestingly, later that same year in December of 2008, a Brazilian police officer was actually arrested because an alleged eyewitness stated that he saw this police officer kill a gay man by shooting him 12 times. And on top of this,
Jesus.
another eyewitness reported to authorities that they saw the same police officer often hanging out in the same park where all of these gay men were being harassed and killed. Now, with two very strong eyewitness claims, obviously there was a case against this police officer, and for the first time in this video, it seems like there may be justice served. However, that was not the case, because in 2011, 3 years later, the
wow.
police officer that was alleged of killing this gay man and potentially being the Rainbow Killer was released after his trial because it was declared that he was not guilty by the jury. And whether you believe that it was actually this police officer or someone else entirely, the end result is the same. The Rainbow Killer, responsible for killing over 13 gay men, is still on the loose to this day.
Dude, I
The
bet-
vending
I bet
machine
he's probably
murders.
killing more
The year
people.
is 1985, and you are excited
So wait,
because
so
you are on
basically, even if those people had the killer, they let him walk scot-free, unless it's not him. Unless it's not him, he was proven not guilty. But, like, you know, that ain't saying much, man. That ain't saying much. Wait, do you guys think you're born evil or is it made, or are you born with it and it's activated like a sleeper agent? Like y'all asked me after this psychology class, kidding. I think human nature in itself is evil. I think human nature in itself is evil to an extent of like when it comes to like selfishness. Automatically, and this goes for other animals a lot as too. Like automatically your number one priority is yourself. Like you'll see it with kids too. Kids will take from other kids. Kids want things other people have. Kids want the most of something. And it's the same with people. What is it better to be born good? Here's a Parthenax quote. Is it better to be born good or to overcome your evil nature through great effort? And I love that quote because I feel like by nature you're not good. You're not just good in general. You learn to be good through like what social pressures are around you, what you grew up around, who you grew up around. You learn good behavior. Good behavior is not just embedded upon you. You know, like humans know very few things when they're born. How to sleep, how to eat, how to drink, and down the line, how to fuck. That's it. You know what I mean? And I'll say that to the end of time. You got to learn everything else. You got to learn behaviors. And if you're raised in a cannibalistic society, you'll be a cannibal. And you're not. Does it make you evil? No. But is the nature evil? Maybe. I don't know. That's how I see it. I don't like people who use past trauma as reason to continue their cycle or progress more. Like, I've been through some really bad shit, and I could never kill them out. I know. I completely agree. But no, I do think, Lena, that there is, like, discrepancy, like, mental discrepancies and issues where certain parts of like, the brain are not, they don't click. They don't click how they would in a neurotypical person, where, like, the reasoning, like, it's like lapse of reasoning and judgment that there's issues with. But there is an evolution, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm no professional. I'm a biology major, though. There's an evolutionary use for all types of people. In history, humans needed psychopaths. They needed killers. Humans needed killers. Because who was going to go to those wars and fight and kill? Who? And feel nothing, you know? No regret. Who was gonna, like, people, they need people who are empathetic. Humans needed people who were killers. Now we're at an age, do we need killers anymore? No. Arguably no. Comparatively to back then. But now it's more of an issue when it comes to, like, now these people, their activities, which they might have even been praised for back then, are now horrible, disgusting, terrible crimes, because they are. But it's like I don't know. So many things come from genetics, and you could disagree. You could believe what you want to believe, but, like, genetics really make up so much of how you are. And, like, literally, not even kidding. I say neutral lightly. I say a little more evil than neutral, in my opinion.
Your first trip to Japan. You told yourself that on this trip, you're going to live like the locals. And it was at this point that you decided to get involved into vending machine culture. Luckily, vending machines are something that are not hard to find in Japan. And you quickly on your walk are able to find one on the side of the road. You walk up to this vending machine fully intending to buy a drink when you realize that there was actually a perfectly good sealed drink sitting on the top of a vending machine. Knowing that Japanese culture is so wholesome in giving, you realize that somebody must have bought this just to give away for free, and you decide to receive the gift. This drink was an orange-flavored energy drink, and that was something that you were honestly kind of craving at that time. After drinking the drink and going on with your day, you realize that you don't really feel too good. You go home feeling sick, trying to sleep it off, but when you get into your bed to take a nap, you never woke up. The story I just told is based...
Was the drinks not unsealed? If you open a drink, you know... Gang. You know if there's a seal. Like, you know if it's sealed. Maybe if they injected it, maybe? I don't know. How would they have gotten... I wonder if that's it. In my opinion, this might be a hot take, but in my opinion, when I watch interviews with Dahmer, he's one of the only ones that show any kind of remorse. Okay. I'm gonna battle you on that one. I honestly feel like he couldn't stop himself. He eventually started getting sloppy because he wanted to be caught. I think part of him did want to be caught. It's like, are you sorry because of what you did, or are you sorry because you got caught? And I think he's sorry because he got caught, by the way. He was so sloppy too, and, like, they just fucking stupid. He knew what he did was wrong, but it's like something compelled him still. I do believe, like, he felt, like, compelled to an extent, but I think he only feels bad because he got caught. Because literally, if you watch the tape, when he's watching the tape of him during that interview with that lady, who first of all was asking some softball ass questions, but anyways, he died of critical when he was sent to heaven. It depends what he truly believed. It's not, but what's it called? What was I saying? Oh, no, I'm not gonna lie. He was low-key bragging about the kills he got. He was happy. Like, he showed genuine joy talking about the kills in the interview. You could, like, literally tell it's like he's bragging. Like, he's literally like he's bragging about it. Talking about Dahmer. I don't know. Like, I feel like he feels maybe a little bad mostly, but I don't like he said he would just keep killing if he got caught. He would just keep killing. he would keep killing. Like, I don't know, like like everyone has self-control, so I could never be like, I could never understand someone being like, I'm compelled to do this. Like Dahmer, I don't know. Dahmer wanted people to feel remorse for him low-key, but I know his ass he enjoyed that shit.
Off of the reality of 13 people in Japan. From April to November in 1985, 13 people were murdered and 35 people got seriously sick because they drank poisoned drinks left on the top of vending machines. Now, if you're asking yourself, who's just drinking drinks left on the top of vending machines? Well, a lot of people actually, and that's because this drink at the time was having low sales. And because these drinks were having low sales, they were offering buy one, get one free promotions in certain vending machines. So it wasn't necessarily uncommon to find the...
Do you meow or bark? I'm a cat fan. Where's my cat? She's right behind me. Olive's right behind me in my chair. I might be able to see her. I don't know if y'all can see her. My mic's in the way. She's right here. She's right here. This dark spot, that's my cat. She's sleeping. There's a Star Wars poster right above her. She's this dark spot right here, where my finger's at.
Extra bottle left on top as a gift on top of the vending machine. And because
insane,
people
dude.
knew that this promotion was going on, and they had seen
like,
in other places this drink was left on top, it wasn't unheard of to take this drink or potentially even leave this drink for someone else. But unfortunately, this fun gesture of paying it forward was severely abused by one or potentially multiple twisted individuals when they decided to leave laced drinks with paraquat on top of vending machines. Paraquat was a very popular herbicide, and while it was a popular herbicide, it also wasn't a stranger to deaths, as in the previous year of 1984, over 1,300 people took their own life by ingesting this toxic substance. The ways in which these victims died varied pretty significantly, with some victims dying within hours of drinking the poisoned beverage, with others dying after 6 weeks of excruciating pain. The Japanese police never received or discovered any leads associated with this string of murders. However, they believed that this string of poisonings was all executed by a single person. There was never any video evidence of this individual, and there was no physical evidence. And the only
dude, doesn't Japan have like a crazy conviction rate? What's Japan's conviction rate? No, typically over 99%. Hey, yo, y'all better make sure y'all don't do a crime for real over there. If they gonna slam the book at you. 99% rate.
True response to this entire situation was nationwide prevention campaigns to further prevent poisonings with other products in Japan. However, those didn't stop future poisonings, because in 1998 and even in 2019, there was other reported cases of intentional poisonings via a beverage, with some of those also using the same toxic agent, paraquat. This situation is just super disturbing, but in a different way to the other murders, because there was no in-person violence, there was no motive, there was no specific target, there was no trend. He didn't know or care if he was poisoning women, children, elderly people, pregnant women. They just wanted to kill people, and unfortunately, they did exactly that and got away with it. Considering these murders took place in 1985, there is a chance that whoever executed these murders could be dead by now, potentially by natural causes or other. However, I would say that it's also likely that whoever did this is still roaming the streets of Japan today, and unfortunately, still a free individual. Just to give you some context about how little information there really is in all of these unsolved cases, the numbers that I gave you about how many people were sick and died only came out in 2012, meaning that from 1985 until 2011, not much was known about how many people died during this stint of poisonings or how many people were injured at all. And it's for this reason that a lot of the serial killers that are still on the loose are from at least over a decade ago, because it takes so much time to gather small scraps of information that are available and connect the dots. But the reality is, with these situations, these people are on the loose because information was not available or was simply not put to good use. The Danilovsky Maniac. Maintaining our now international theme, we next have a serial killer from Russia.
Where my
the
Russians
Danilovsky
at?
Maniac is a serial killer who committed at least 7 murders between 2004 and 2007 in Chepovets,
7
Russia.
in 3 years?
This killer is known
Holy
as the
shit.
Danilovsky Maniac because 3 of the murders he committed took place in an abandoned construction site on Danilovsky Street. Like every other depraved individual on this list, this killer targeted women. He would assault them, kill them, and then hide their bodies in construction sites across his city. And multiple of his victims victims were girls under the age of 18. The Danilovsky maniac is believed to be active as early as 1999
What up-
and as
what up,
late
Peter?
as 2010. And with nearly 11 years of crime, 7 confirmed killings, and 14 possible killings, there was quite a bit of
Possibly
information being
14.
processed by the police. However, nobody was ever caught. But
Whoa,
this
what are they
wasn't
doing
due to
over
a
there?
lack of effort. In 2008
Okay.
alone, over 200 people were interviewed to see if they knew anything or potentially were the murderer, and the police were even offering
Oh wait.
up to were interviewed to see, but this wasn't due
They
to
said
a
how-
lack of
wait,
effort.
wait.
In 2008 alone, over 200 people were interviewed
200
to
people.
see if they knew anything or potentially were the murderer, and
They were like, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Did you kill those ladies? And they're just like, no. I'm gonna go ahead and write that down. Didn't kill the ladies. Honestly, suspicious. Okay, next one. See you later. Thank you. Like, what the hell? What kind of methods of investigation? Oh, yeah, we interviewed 200 people to see if they knew anything about the killer. They all said no. It's negative 10 degrees outside or more, and no one goes outside, so we wouldn't know. Like, gang, what's that gonna do?
the police were even offering up to 500,000 rubles for any information.
What is 500,000 rubles? $20,000? Yo, I'm snitching. I'm snitching on that guy. I'm making up some shit. I'm doing some fucking surveillance for that guy for 20 grand.
However, this reward has still gone unclaimed. One disturbing trait that was common for the Danilovsky maniac was that he would leave crude drawings at the scene of each murder to essentially taunt police. These drawings were graphic in nature and extremely upsetting considering the context. As of 2024, authorities have not publicly named any suspects in this case.
Oh, in
and all of the
2024,
cases
they're
associated
they
with
don't
the serial
care no
killer
more.
are unfortunately unsolved. The only
Yeah, they're
information that
giving
the
up on
authorities
that.
are able to give publicly is that they believe that the serial killer is likely alive and potentially between the ages of 58 and 73,
That's
and may
always
have
the
bald
ages
spots
they
in their
give.
hair. And if that description sounds extremely vague to you,
Yeah.
well, that's because it is. I feel like at least 40% of Russia's population fits that description, so
Right.
it's not very helpful. Although, even this minuscule amount of information is better than the no information available in some of the other cases we've discussed on this list. It's no secret that we've discussed some seriously sick and twisted individuals so
insane.
far on this list. However, we're not done yet, because like I
Oh, no.
mentioned, we're going to end the video
Oh my
with serial
God.
killers that are on the loose and active to this very day, with
Dude.
confirmed kills within the last few years, or
What?
potentially even more recently. And if you thought there was limited information about these serial killers we've discussed so
Oh,
far,
we're
well,
fucked.
buckle up, because all of the
Hey, y'all be
active serial
careful
killers
out
we're
there,
to discuss
please.
have almost nothing known about them, and that's, like I mentioned, part of the nature. One thing that I've learned from making serial killer videos and kind of researching serial killers in
this guy-
general
this
is
guy
that
be just
serial
looking
killers
up
are more or less of a
murderers.
retrospective game. It typically takes many years after the fact for authorities to be able to piece things together and put together a proper timeline of exactly what happened and connect all of the dots that tie a single killer to all of the different victims. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean that there's nothing
they
for
were
us to
one
discuss.
person?
There's just not many examples and they're relatively vague, which is why I'm going
Oh,
to do a bit of a
Russians?
speed run, and the speed run is about to get crazy. But not as crazy as how many of you aren't actually subscribed. So if you do enjoy these
Oh,
videos
shit.
and like my cute
Trust
pumpkin
me, bro,
outfit, then
official.
consider being a bro and subscribing. We're getting so close to 1
I'ma
million
subscribe. I'ma
subscribers. But
subscribe.
okay, let's go through this
I
speed
actually like
round
the
of
video.
serial killers that are active right now. We're starting in
I keep
Mexico,
looking at that
and
spider.
it's not necessarily one individual, it's actually
Mendo.
a place. And this place is known as the
Mendo.
Highway of Death. It's basically a 136-mile stretch
Yo, imagine you're going like down the convenience store and you're like traveling down the road. You're talking to a buddy. Oh yeah, oh yeah, go check out the Quick Trip on the Highway of Death. like yeah, we're going to the Highway of Death today to go down to the Dollar General. Like, what? What are we naming these places? What a Mendo, bro. Be careful,
of a
gang.
federal highway that since 2022 has seen the death of at least 71 individuals who have been
71?
provably murdered. Beyond these 71
Oh my
proven murders on this
God.
highway, there's believed to be over 200 potential murders that have taken place on this highway since 2020, and the number is still only going up. It's not necessarily believed that only one serial killer is responsible for all these murders, and authorities believe that this is most likely the work of cartels, but they have explicitly said said that they are not writing off lone criminals to also be responsible for some of the murders that have taken place on this highway.
Some
Meaning
people
that if
definitely gotta take
anything,
advantage
this
of
stretch
that.
of highway is not home to just one serial killer, but multiple. 18 different individuals who were attacked on the highway and survived all claimed that they were abducted by armed men and tortured before being released or escaping. And while no motivation is given beyond that, it further adds to the theory that cartel intervention is happening. Although, if the cartels are doing this, begs the question of what is their motivation? Just because somebody's a member of the cartel, that doesn't mean that they're not a rogue serial killer on their off time. Another ongoing situation that's taking place not in Mexico, but in Canada is known as the Highway of Tears. On the now infamous Highway 16,
What's up with these highway names, bro? Oh yeah, I'm in Canada, so like, you're going down to the. Hold on, what stores do Canadians have? Hold on. Where's Kylie at? Somebody find Kylie. Somebody tell Kylie you're at the what they got over there. They say they have Costco. Imagine you're going on a Costco run, and you're like, wait, what? You're in a new town, right? You just moved to Fort St. James, and you're like, I know there's a Walmart. What highway is it? And so you ask a random person. They're like, oh yeah, if you take a right on the Highway of Tears, add the A at the end, and grab yourself a bottle of maple syrup, by the hockey rink. Like what are we talking about? Why are we naming highways the Highway of Tears? And they're like long too. Like
in Canada, from 1970 up until the modern day, like right now, over 80 women and girls,
Oh my God.
primarily indigenous women and girls, have been murdered or have gone missing while walking on the side of this highway. With this string of murders ongoing now for over 50 years,
fuck?
it is believed that murdering innocent people on this highway has become more or less of a multi-generational tradition among seriously twisted individuals. And it's believed that not one, but many individuals have killed innocent women on this highway for a plethora of disturbing reasons. Going right back down to Mexico, we're discussing
I
the
feel
toy
like-
car murderers. This is once again not necessarily one killer, but a group of
hold on. I feel like those highway murderers, bro. Yo, gang. I feel like maybe you just gotta set up some teams. Here's how you solve that. You set up some teams up and down the highway, right? You have women at different parts of the highway, and they have a team of SWAT teams or people with rifles ready, hidden in the bushes. And when somebody try to stop over, unless they're getting shot and killed, but somebody want to stop by and pick them up, as soon as they stop, bro, they get swarmed and blocked in, and then you capture them. You don't even let them explain. You just take them. If they're stopping for a woman in that place, you know it's for a kill. Let's be honest. They've killed 70 people there in a short period of time. Matter of fact, if they stopping to pick somebody up there, kind soul or not, they're going to jail forever. No trial. Just send them away. They're caught then and there. Whoever want to do it, we'll show them something. Jail for life. You want to be a kind soul? Jail for life. Gone. 18 life sentences. Right then and there. A lot of serial killers that were able to continue killing were ones who drive trucks. They drove all over the country and no one connects murders together. Yeah. That's what they were saying earlier in the video too, because it's like a job perfect for murderers because they can. Like, they're all over the place all the time. But yeah, that's basically what they're saying. It's crazy.
killers who live in Sinaloa. These murders took place from 2019 to 2023 and still may be ongoing to this day. They have 5 proven victims and 6 possible victims. And this
my
killer
God.
or group of killers are known as the toy car killers because they are specifically targeting
car
car
killers.
thieves. Yeah, like this is some Dexter stuff. These individuals are identifying car thieves,
wait.
shooting them in the head, leaving them for
Give him a medal! Give him a medal! I'm just kidding. I'm absolutely kidding. That's horrible. Theft does not equal murder, by the way. That does not equal. Now, a home break-in, up that pole. But like a theft, okay. Like, just tell them to run. Like, fuck off or something. Like, they might never try it again after that. You know, they might be. There's kids, bro. Kids be trying to rob cars nowadays. And especially in this time, it's in 2023, there's children doing this.
dead and leaving toy cars on their body as a calling card. Authorities
toy
believe that this
cars?
is some form of
Oh,
vigilante.
this guy's waiting for car thieves. This guy's a fucking This guy's the Punisher. Wait. Yo, that's crazy.
Justice, and the actions are being taken out by either one person or a group of organized people, all with the same hatred of car thieves.
I bet
Having
it's a group.
a serial killing calling card in
Well, actually, no,
2023
I don't know.
is
Maybe
some
it's one person.
seriously diabolical stuff. And don't get me wrong, stealing somebody's car is really messed up. But if you're going to create an organized crime murder vigilante justice group, I feel like there are probably other crimes you could go after rather than car thieves. But
Is there
that's
not
just
a way to like track like the toy car sales in the area? Kids is not buying them. Kids don't play with Hot Wheels no more. They're playing Switches, both kinds. They're playing Xbox and PlayStations. They're playing ROG Allies. No, they're not. They're playing Nintendo Switches and iPads and iPhones at like 5. They're not buying Hot Wheels. I saw a kid the other day buy a Hot Wheel at Walmart. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, a little kid and his dad, and then his dad got mad at him for something. I don't know, he got mad. He started yelling at him. I was like, okay. But anyways, I was like, man, that's the first Hot Wheels sale they've had in 20 years. No kids is buying Hot Wheels. So there's got to be a way to get like literally, could you not just skim all receipts in the area and maybe track all packages to the area that are selling a car, that is a car sale? Unless, I guess, maybe it's a federal crime because it's mail. But that's not a federal crime, though, if it's Amazon. So you should be able to tap in with Amazon. Amazon, I need to know all toy car sales in this area. And then you go to the Albertsons, and you're like, I need to see any toy car receipts that you have sold while I've been here for a federal investigation. Same with, and then you go to Walmart, you do the same thing. And then that way you can track whoever buying these cars, and there you go, you got your killer. Hire me right now. Oh my goodness. Bro, I see people buying toy Hot Wheel cars all the time. Okay, but what age group is that? What age demographic is that? They have grown ass adults looking for Hot Wheels Supers. Okay, exactly. There's no kids buying them. So what I'm saying is, if you find all the people buying cars and Hot Wheels, you gonna find a very smaller pool of killers. That's a hobby. That's a hobbyist thing. So you already know the size is gonna be small. In the area, at least. So I'm not spitting facts. You said, bro, I'm not spitting facts? I think I'm spitting facts.
my 2 cents. Not advocating for vigilante justice or murder, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's probably other things you could be more motivated by, but what do I know? Heading over to the States, we have the
Little Rock serial stabbings. Yo, I'm not that far from Little Rock. My nephew has about the same. 500 Hot Wheel cars? Man, that's propaganda. My kid has 500. You're lying. You're lying. It's not true. Not true. Lying through your teeth. I'm just kidding. Damn, really, bro? I feel like, man, some of this got to be a scam. Some of this got to be a scam.
Rock serial stabbings. From 2020 to 2021, there were 3 confirmed fatal stabbings in Little Rock, Arkansas. All 3 of these stabbings were believed to be committed by the same person, and unfortunately, there's absolutely no information about who was stabbing these people and why they were stabbing these people. Authorities are actively investigating the situation, and hopefully justice and answers are brought forward soon. Jumping over to Pakistan, we have the Jankil grave. In 2020, a grave containing the bodies of 4 teenage boys was found.
Jesus.
One of these boys was decapitated, one of them was shot, and 2 of them were stoned to death. The only connection between all of these bodies were the fact that they were buried in the same place. But beyond that, nobody knows who killed these boys, why they killed them, or when this even happened. The situation has been going since 2020, and minimal updates have been provided since then. There has been numerous protests in Pakistan demanding justice for these young boys, but unfortunately, answers or justice...
Nah, bro, Santa just didn't love you. No, I had hella Hot Wheels. That's all I had. But at this day and age, those kids don't want no damn Hot Wheels. They want screen time. They yearn for screen time.
Connection between all of these bodies were the fact that they were buried in the same place. But beyond that, nobody knows who killed these boys, why they killed them, or when this even happened. The situation has been going since 2020, and minimal updates have been provided since then. There has been numerous protests in Pakistan demanding justice for these young boys, but unfortunately, answers or justice have not been given yet. And this killer, along with all others are still at large.
Yeah,
Heading
dude,
over
there's
to
no
Mali,
info
of
on
all
that.
places, we have the Fana beheadings, which took place from 2018 to 2022 when 10 confirmed individuals were beheaded in
Oh
a
my
ritualistic
God.
decapitation. Upon investigation, it was confirmed that none of these victims had anything in common, and their heads were eventually found separately, but all
What
of these
the
bodies had their
fuck?
blood drained, which is why it was believed these bodies were used for ritualistic purposes.
Oh.
Since these murders, investigations have been ongoing and updates have been minimal. However, these murders did
Yo,
shock
remind
the
me
region
not
of
to go to
Africa, and the
Mali,
UN
bro.
has actively inserted themselves in the situation to try to, quote, continue to make sustained efforts to protect
Somebody
civilians. And
decapitated
for the final
10
entry on this
women
entire list, we have a man
and
named
drained their bodies
Vampire,
of blood.
a Kenyan serial killer who was active from 2022 to 2024, and in that time killed a confirmed 42 women.
Oh my
Vampire
fucking
is
God.
a 33-year-old Kenyan man in Nairobi, and after his 42 woman killing spree from 2022 to 2024, he actually was arrested, but shortly after being arrested, escaped custody and has not been heard from or
What the
seen
fuck?
since. It is believed by some in Kenya that the police actively aided in the escape of the serial killer, which
the
is
fuck?
extremely disheartening if true. As we conclude this video, I do just want to make a quick reminder that everything I discussed in this video is real. These are real victims with real families and real friends
This
and
dude
real
had
lives destroyed and ruined and
42
taken. I try my
victims?
absolute best to
42 fucking victims in 2 years, and the police helped him escape. What kind of world are we living in? That's horrible. Good video, dude, but that's fucking terrible. Good video. Make sure y'all check out his stuff. I'm gonna subscribe. That's a good video, but oh my God. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please consider hitting the like button and dropping a subscribe on your boy if you feel so inclined to do so. I really have fun doing these videos and posting this content, and I appreciate to see you guys again and again and again. But anyways, like I always say, I'll see you guys later.